for the sun to be what it is today has taken billions of years, step at a time, little by little, little by little, little by little. And then the process of creation has come. I explained this too before, maybe you understand it. To create a process of, let's say, living in the body of them, in what do you call it, a fetus.
Yeah.
The brain, the body of, or what they call the amalgamation of the cells, don't go and process it there. They create a condition that condition allows any fields which fits into the liver, which decided by the liver of the mother, is manifested in it. And then that allows it to grow because it attracts fields. It's the same in the universe. To wait for the fields to come, the womb of the galaxy creates a condition that this place can accommodate something. And there is a soul for it, which, or a field energy which is available to that, the strength of filling the wish within the process. Very few, if any, stars or systems ever been created by the interaction of the fields on their own. In a way, you're the seed, they drop you in, and then it grows, you get a plant. The soul of the man is that seed. And they given the strength in a given position in the universe, then it nourishes because it can absorb. Once you germinate the first seed, the rest is normal. And that seed comes grown in the village of the earth, in the, what do you call it, global warming structure of the soul. Last week, I spoke about what happened in last year with the planet Earth. How we connected directly to the sun for a fraction of time. Where, even though we had an atmospheric connection, but we lost the field strength of, or the strength hardly connected to the sun. We had the direct line. If you look at environmental changes since last April, you understand the change, the fields which have received elevation of the what we call physical structure, and the soul of this planet has changed. That continuously shielding of the atmosphere wasn't there, it was gone. And in that time, massive energy, right? That energy which is absorbed by the body partially and partially goes to the center of the planet, now is showing itself in disaster conditions and the change of the weather. Even now we see again new structure setting. They keep on talking about global warming, but the changes in the physical structure of the earth and start marking it in a drastic way is, since last May, is because of this surge of energy which has been received by inner physical structure of the planet.
Wow.
And I said we have to wait and see. Now we see the floods, we see other things.
So the depletion of crude oil, that has contributed to these disasters because it's not shielding the fields from...
Crude oil will never diminish on this planet. Read the paper I've written time ago. As long as we have the oceans, as long as we have the moisture and the salt moisture, as long as we have what we call the salt. You know what the salt means in the world of chemistry? Is a connection of the iron metal to a non-metal, which that what's how the salts are created, what we call a salt. As long as there are metals in the ocean, there are metals in the atmosphere, and as long as we have non-metallic calcium, whatever, in the oceans of the planet. And we have the zinc and the copper are the, what we call, the top that the oil will finish is a fallacy.
Yeah, no, I know it will finish. But it acts as a shield, doesn't it?
No, it gets absorbed in the ocean and it goes deep in. It is the field absorption.
Is the oil is the oil for the Earth similar to our brain matter for the brain, where it kind of diffuses the rays as we absorb them?
No, it's selective job. You see, you have certain fields which matches with the zinc in the ocean. You have certain fields which matches with the copper in the ocean. If the field strength and the energy matches with the iron, you create the first cycle of life, which can have what we call blood circulation. Yeah, and we see this. Yeah. We see that in the east of Atlantic, and we see it in North China Sea. These are the two bedrocks of life on this planet, which is iron-based.
Really?
So it's very simple. We have huge, I've explained this in other teachings years ago, the Central Sahara or desert in Central Africa, with the annual winds which blows the iron dust over Congo and into the Atlantic, and with the right combination of the salinity of the Atlantic, creates that what you do in your boxes, in your what do you call it, CO2 production boxes and the rest of it. They create instant condition of the protein, then it starts with connection to the calcium in the ocean, the cycle of life. We have the same thing in North China Sea, because we have a mountain range which is full with iron. In annual corrosion, this iron gets into the ocean and leads to the creation. That's why we have a huge life presence in east coast of Africa, and this leads to the next generation of what we call the weather disturbances and hurricanes and the rest of it, which is partly connected to this. And if you understand this, then you understand there is never ever, as long as the deserts and North China Sea iron wall exists, there shall never be shortage of oil on this planet. It's the cause of it. One of my wishes, one of my hopes is, and I'm watching it, what was downloaded, what was received by Earth last year in a direct contact, up to now is pushing it away. That cuddle, that kiss, that connection for a short time at certain strength, because don't forget, the atmosphere of the Earth still managed to handle the lower strengths or other strengths which was covering. In that period of time, even though it was handling it, couldn't handle the strong direct, which it literally came through. And when you receive that kind of energy, it has effects. Has it changed the psychology of the man, which we will see in the next 10, 20 years, 30 years? Has it changed the environment, this download of huge energy? The biggest thing which we have to watch, which I think is the major effect of it, within the next 200 to 500 years, we should see repositioning of the Earth. In a way, I explain to you very easy, scientifically. You get a magnet and stick it on a metal and feel the strength of it. Take the magnet away and put it in the hot water, or put it in fire it, get a torch and fire at it for a few minutes. and try to put that magnet back on the same metal. You see, it doesn't attach. It's gone. It's lost its power. Now, put the magnet back in one of these magnet machines and increase the voltage to 3000 volts, for example. I don't know if you know how they make magnet. And take that piece out again and stick it on the same metal. You see that the strength of it is much harder, much stronger than what you had originally, because it has been changed, more aligned fields. And so it's received more energy than what it had, even it lost some of it. It's exactly what happened to the Earth. We have received additional energy in Keshe Foundation terminology, magnetic fields in motion. We have received huge amount of magnetic fields from the Earth directly absorbed in the polar system of the Earth on the north, which means the filtering has changed. If it's the south, absorption changes. If it's the north, it's filtering which changes. So how much energy has actually gone in and how much the filtering energy has changed? Would that affect what we've seen, the environmental immediate outside? We see changes. We clearly see changes due to this effect. But world of science is not aware of it. If you knowledge seekers start going, ticking back, what things has happened since May of last year, April of last year, then you see things are different. The energy, internal energy has changed. The amount of energy Earth releases from North Pole has changed. This forces the South to pull more. This forces the internal structure to release more to compensate for what is coming too. So this is going to have an effect on us, 100%, 100%. The Earth condition will change because of this rapid, strong, what you call fields which we received. And this is just coincidental. It will change a lot. But then, what does this new dimension will bring? A change of position. With that change of position, the rest of the satellites of the what do you call it, the solar system, have to adjust themselves to it. It will have a profound effect. Yes, it does.
So we have to wait for the harsh days in front of us?
Why harsh days but not beautiful days?
No, before it changes to beautiful.
No, not really. Look at the, you see, whatever happens, we have to compensate. Whatever happens. One of the most important things for me to watch with this is, would the degree of the angle of the Earth in next 100, 200 years changes more back to the center than flipping towards the 90 degrees. This could be one of the effects of this encounter. And with that, we will see changes in the equatorial line of the Earth.
Okay.
We see the changes. I was explaining this recently to someone. Let me explain. Let me see if I have the picture, because this was part of another discussion. I have to check something. If I have the picture, you will understand even how our deserts are, and if this line has changed because of the interaction, this will create a change for us. And would that bring new energies that we don't need to kill for, or to be part of the kill for? Let me, yes, I have found the picture. This was something I was discussing with one of the knowledge seekers, and then you will understand what it means. Let me see, I have to share. photo. Share photo. Because our world of science, our scientists don't understand, then you would understand a lot of things. This picture was made very recently for educational purposes, for our knowledge. This is the what do you call it? The Sahara pattern of this planet. You got to understand, if you take Australia and put it back in where it should be, if it's just on the side of the west of what they call east of New York, into that gap. If you take Australia, the whole of the continent, and literally shift it up to where it is, take it across the Indian Ocean and fit it into the side of the New York, and then bring the planetary system together, you see that Sahara part sits as part of this alignment. And then you understand exactly where it comes from. But this Sahara, what you call desert line, why is it there? If you put America, what you call Australia into America, you see it's an extension of the African extension. It's part of that extension. In a way, I cannot draw a line on it. I wish I could. Then the geographical pictures they show us is so wrong. Put this in the angle of the inclination of the planet Earth, which gives us the 4th season, in an angle shape, then you see this. The line of the deserts of the planet Earth is in line with the inclination angle of the Earth. This is where the field transfer is strong in the central line, where we have the circulation of the fields inwards. In fact, if I could tilt this this picture in line with the what we call the planetary line of the inclination, you see it's parallel, and it rides exactly on the equator line. Then you understand this, what we received as energy, what effect is going to have on this line. See the countries it passes: Saudi Arabia, Africa, the central line of the African continent desert. And you see it passes, if I expand it, it passes Middle East. Haven't we seen huge rains in Dubai? Haven't we seen snow in Saudi? Are we seeing flood in Africa today? Or the Sahara line? And how come all this happened since this incident? What energy has changed inside the planetary system? And we're seeing floods in Australia. Because magnetic field strength is about the same, because it came from there. Inside, it's the same fields absorbed, doesn't matter where you are. Our, what they call, scientists who make these maps in such a false way they've done, gives us this problem. Creates us not to understand the true physiology and the emotion of the planet, the energy received. If I could play and put this angle of the inclination exactly the way it is, and put Australia back it should be because it came from there, stuck to it, is part of it, then you understand there is a big change about to come. Doesn't matter who makes what claim. If you could, let me play a game on this and I'll tell you how. Just 1 second. And then you understand the whole cycle that from what we see today in the changes of the geographical changes has come since this incident. Which means the planet has received the energy, is changing its position, is changing its energy level, and where there was no rain, now there'll be a lot of rain. Because now it's moved to the equator line below the, what do you call it, above the rain line. Then we start seeing other parts which were not desert coming into the line, because we have to have this desert. This is the specific characteristics of the spherical shape plasmatic fields structure. You cannot change it. On Earth, our planetary system, our, what do you call it, continents are shown that way. Actually, our continents are this way. It's a inclination to the line of the inclination of the planet, which creates a 4 season. This is all rubbish. And we know that is correct because we have a system, we build a system, we know the system. They talk about theory, we talk about the facts because we have this. And you cannot speak about it unless you build it, you have it, then you can talk about it. Then even you understand, look at all the UFO pictures. And then this is one of the criterion of it, not all of it. This is not that you can make a copy of it and put it there. And people like this Romanian, Mexican, American pattern they put in, they can't get it flown, and because the guy doesn't even understand the principle of it. But if you understand, then you see, does the emotion of the sun transfers to earth, and what it's going to do? The mother has kissed the child. Now we see the love of the child has energized the planet. One of the things we see with this last year, what I call the kiss of the mother, is that we have moved slightly away from the sun. Because the energy of the center magnets got stronger, so the distance has changed. And change of distance creates new environmental condition. Nothing to do with the global warming. Our scientists don't understand the science of creation, then they come up with any rubbish they like. There is no difference between the structure of the UFO and the structure of the universal systems. I mean, all have the same problem on the equator line. You don't see it on the planetary system, which are vertical, because that stays on that line. That pattern stays. You look at all the planetary system, they don't have that inclination. So everywhere is the same. That inclination of the planet Earth has created 4 seasons, and so is vulnerable to changes. And when you get charged, is what I told you, you get the magnet and put it in at 3000 and put it back, you say, oh, it's stronger than before, I can't now pull it off the metal. Now, this is what happened. We received the charge. Law of the physics of the plasma, the stronger always gives to the weaker. We are the weaker, we are a minute structure, and we received a huge amount. We were lucky that we were not pushed out of our orbit of the sun by hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Or inside is handling it to keep the position, and it brings the changes. This new phenomenon we've seen with Mecca snow, with Dubai rains, with the floods in North Africa, with the Sahara Desert, problems in Australia and the others, nothing to do with global warming whatsoever. And the process is very simple. You rotate on your axis, you have homogeneous condition. This creates different kind of life. It doesn't mean it's lifeless. If you change the position of the angle of the planet directly the other way, you see it totally. The planetary system works this way. It creates a specific kind of intelligence. When you put the system like Earth this way, then you get what we have. And now we received energy. This angle has changed. And this is what, if you remember last week, I told you, I hold my heart into what happened. This is a present kind. We think it has moved to this direction, where this is the, what you call the 100% position, vertical position. When you change that, when you received energy, that's why I gave you the example of the magnets and the magnet machine. We will see these changes. Nothing to do with global. But people who have no knowledge now say, oh, global warming has brought this. Did you listen? Rick, can you go back on the condition of the connection of the Earth magnetic field? I think it's April the 13th of 2023, if I'm correct. Or is it May 23? Go on the internet, bring it back and see what the scientists say, what happened to Earth.
Yeah, I do have some other pictures here from an interesting article about the cosmic rays and the interaction with the Earth's magnetosphere. And they show a diagram of the Earth and the continents and the magnetic field. Let me get that up so I can.
Yeah, but go stick to, let's
okay.
do what I'm trying to explain. Go and see what happened when the Earth magnetic field and sun connected, unified. We received a huge energy. Our scientists don't understand this. They're ignorant to it, and they come with everything else. Maybe this has solved the global warming problem, which they talk about, the CO2. This is not having, we call it, the Indians always say, Ni Hakim Khatarjan. Half a doctor is always a problem. Our scientists are so specialized, they see their own tip of their own nose. They don't see the whole creation. And then you see how the magma reached the planet, how that strong magma blew the magnetic field protection of the Earth from the higher level, and that fed the planet Earth. The pictures, I don't know, you don't cross the line of claims that is not authorized to use, Rick. Be careful in what pictures we use, please. We don't
it should be fine with NASA's okay with sharing their images usually, so it shouldn't be a problem there.
Yeah, so in that magma blow up in early, what do you call it, spring of last year, has brought a new condition. We understand it. Now they're reporting massive rains in the desert of North Africa. Yes, was expected. We saw it in Dubai last year, flooded the city. And somebody claims, I made it and I created it. Hot air. Look at the Saudi. How come they have snow in Mecca? The condition to absorption of huge field from magma of the sun early last year It will bring changes. I'm watching it. It's charged. It has to react. It's a magnetic field. And this bring new conditions. We have to monitor. And what happens in Australian desert, it'll be in line with what happens to the rest of the, what do you call it, desert line of the planet Earth, because it comes from there. It's confirmation that Australia was attached to that part of the continent. How it disappeared, how it moved is different. Fits into position technically. And then if you bring the continents together, you see it's part of the desert equator line of the inclination of the planet.
So maybe the behavior of humans would change.
Should do. Should do.
Is it part of the plan of God?
These are the realities of the physical life. You can attach it to anything you like. But when you understand it, you understand our soul is a plasma as well. And because of these changes and energy, we will change. We have to change. We already received it. Because of such a huge amount of fields which has come to us and we were rotating, we all received it. Every single living thing on this planet has been what I call magnetically elevated, put it that way. Would that bring us to become more knowledgeable? Are we ready to receive the new knowledge? Was this a coincidence? Or was it to give a helping hand for bringing that position of peace? Does the sun have a soul and wanted to create that condition that his child does not suffer anymore, and he added to it? How do you want to read to it? I can bring it to you in 1,000 different ways.